Awesome. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to thank you guys all for being here promptly and on time. We are waiting to have quorum. So we have one more board member. She was having a little bit of car trouble, but she's on her way and we'll get started. So as soon as she walks in, we'll get going. But thank you guys again for your time. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and open up business and call item 1A, public session to order, and have a roll call. Thank you, Janet.
Board President Tom Jennings is absent. Board Vice President Veronica Miramontes.
Here.
Board Member Jeff Uchida.
Here.
Board Member Dr. Betty Lusk.
She will be joining us on Zoom, so we'll see if we can see her. Not here yet, but we have enough quorum in person.
Board Member Sarah Oftedal.
Here.
Board Member Malika Velasquez.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, item 1C, adopt agenda. So just checking, are there any proposed changes to the agenda for tonight?
Madam President, I'd like to poll 8F till another board meeting. Our partner needs a little bit more time for their MOU.
Sounds good, thank you. And with item 8F pulled, can I get a motion for the adoption of the agenda?
I'll move to adopt the agenda. I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion from Board Member Offsettle and a second from Board Member Velasquez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. And then we're going to move into item 1D, identify closed session topics of discussion. So closed session items, we have item number 2A, conference with real proper negotiation, Ryan Altemeyer, agency negotiator for Garden Road in Monterey, under negotiation terms of sale of property. Item 2B, conference with labor negotiator Dr. Manuel Nunez, agency negotiator, California School Employee Association, Monterey Bay Teacher Association, and underrepresented employees. Item 2C, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, and complaints. Item 2D, conference with legal counsel, potential litigation. And item 2E, public employee performance evaluation, the superintendent evaluation. So for public comment per closed session items, this is an opportunity for the public to make comments regarding any closed session items with the board's subject matter jurisdiction. When the president recognizes a member of the public for oral comments, such as comments should be limited to 3 minutes. So are there any requests for public comment for closed session items only? Thank you. Hi, come on up.
Thank you. Good evening, President Jennings, Superintendent Diffenbaugh, and esteemed board members. I am Rosalind Book, a proud 23-year educator and president of the Monterey Bay Teachers Association. First, I want to thank you all for a collaborative TA for the 24-25 school year and recognize the responsiveness to the priorities of our staff, especially in the area of workday. In this same spirit, I am hopeful that we can find a way to help our members meet the rising costs of healthcare and living here in Monterey area. The rising cost of healthcare is a fact that is impacting us all. In light of this, MBTA has spent a year and a half researching, collecting data, and informing our members of their choices. Unlike other districts, we didn't ask to hire a broker, but had a committee of dedicated members do the work. After presenting all the information, our membership has voted 78% to leave McSig for PERS. I invite and encourage you all to view the information provided to our members so that you can see what we have presented with transparency and objectivity. Nobody should have to fight for the basic need for health care, especially in a field where the health and well-being of our educators directly affects our students. But this is where we are, and we need your help. To leave McSig, there is a one-time cost to our members of between $500,000 to $600,000. Additionally, going from the lowest McSig to PERS plan adds a cost to our members, and we're asking that the board use a portion of our healthy 14% reserves to help cover these costs and add to the contributions to our health care for future years. If you compare us to other districts, we are almost $10,000 lower yearly in our district's contribution to Family and Employee Plus One plans. North Monterey County, Alisal, Soledad, Gilroy, and Salinas all surpass our contributions by, in some cases, $10,000 plus a year. In addition, all of these districts stagger their contributions to Employee Plus One and Family to meet these ongoing increases. If we stay where we are, how can we expect our members to stay in MPUSD when starting a family means that they would be covered almost completely somewhere else? Last year, we were one of the few districts who received no ongoing salary increase, which put us further behind from achieving our goal of being a comparable district in the eyes of prospective employees. This is the exact situation that these reserves are for. Our focuses are the same: recruiting and retaining quality educators. Instead of saying we want to, we must make it our top priority. We must do what it costs to build a secure and sustainable workforce that our students deserve. Now I'd like you to hear from some of our members and their healthcare experiences. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So my name is Lisa Kahn, and I teach kindergarten at J.C. Crumpton. When I was hired in 2019, my out-of-pocket for what I paid for my health care benefits was nothing. Now in 2025, my share of health care benefits is $1,539.19 a month, and the district contributes $860.81. I feel like this functions like a de facto pay cut. Thank you for hearing my story.
Good evening. My name is Keisha Ferguson. I am a special education teacher at Marina High School, and I'm reading this on behalf of another member. Good evening, Board President Miramontes, Dr. Diffenbaugh, and Cabinet. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story about my family's experience with MPUSD. Because this is emotional and deeply personal, I asked my colleague, me, to read my story on my behalf and would like to remain anonymous. I have been with MPUSD for almost 18 years. My family and I have always worked hard to stay healthy because we know how difficult it is to afford being sick. For years, we were confident with our PPO Select plan, but everything changed when my husband turned 50 and went through his mandatory checkup. What we thought would be routine tests became the turning point of our lives. He was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. From the very beginning, we faced barriers with our insurance coverage. His GI doctors were with Montage, but major procedures were being pushed to be done at CHOMP, which was not covered. We had to explain over and over that we couldn't go there. At one point, we were even humiliated by a doctor's staff who questioned whether we were really educators, saying, "You both work for the district. You should have good insurance." We tried every avenue, including Transcarent, but found out they don't cover cancer surgeries. From February to May, we researched endlessly and pleaded with MPUSD for help finding doctors who would take our insurance. Finally, we found a team in Watsonville and Santa Cruz, but every appointment, every test meant 30 to 40 minutes of driving. We were exhausted, but we were grateful to finally have a medical team willing to help. 2 summers ago, my husband underwent what was supposed to be a straightforward surgery. Instead, complications kept him in the hospital for 28 days. He endured 2 surgeries, ICU, and TCI. Because family members could not stay overnight, I drove 45 minutes each way every morning and every night. When he was discharged, he still had open incisions. The hospital arranged for a nurse to help, but our insurance didn't cover it, so I was trained to clean and care for his surgical wounds myself. 6 months later, he required another surgery. To this day, we continue traveling long distances for scans, sometimes as far as Los Gatos. By the grace of God, my husband's second-year scans have come back clear, and for that I am deeply grateful. But the journey was far harder than it needed to be. I share this story not for sympathy, but in the hope that no one else, no educator, no family, has to go through what we did. We need better medical services and stronger insurance support for all. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Diffenbaugh and members of the board. Thank you for listening to our concerns and priorities. My name is Erin Costello, and I'm going to use myself as an example of why it makes sense to put district resources into leaving MPUSD. The district's contribution towards health benefits in MPUSD is $760 for employees only, $860 for employee plus family. The cost to me for employee only is $131 per month for PPO Select, which is the cheapest plan, and which does not include the ability to use most Monterey County hospitals. The cost for me with my daughter would be $914. The cost for my family of 3 would be $1,445 a month. Again, that's for the cheapest plan. For the plan with the lowest copay, it would be $3,353 per month. The reason I'm able to take the employee-only plan is that my husband works in Salinas City Elementary School District, where the district contributes far more towards benefits. SCESD contribution is currently $11,040 for employee-only, $16,260 for employee plus one, and $21,120 for family. This means that my husband is able to pay $269 per month for himself plus our daughter, as opposed to adding her to my plan, which would have cost $914 per month for the cheapest plan in MPUSD. The family plan for PPO Select with SCESD would be $386 per month. The same plan in MPUSD would be $1,445 a month. But we can't be on the same family plan because MCSIG doesn't allow spouses who both have MCSIG coverage to be on the same plan, even if it's through a different employer. If I multiply the district's contribution for me alone by 11 months, it's $8,372. If we didn't have MCSIG, for the last several years, I could have been under my husband's family plan for cheaper than what I'm paying now. The way I see it, having MCSIG means that the district is paying an unnecessary $8,000 per year per employee couple who have to pay for separate plans rather than a family plan. I would much rather that money would have been used towards increasing district contributions in general, salary, or just be given to me directly in lieu of insurance. In addition to prioritizing increasing our district contributions towards benefits, I believe our district should cover the cost of moving away from MCSIG. The cost of the switch is a one-time cost, which is not only in support of our employees and families, but which also allows the district contributions to go farther and be used more efficiently.
Good evening, Dr. Diffenbaugh, members of the board, and colleagues. My name is Elizabeth McLeod. It's my 19th year teaching in the district. I teach third grade at La Mesa. My previous colleague said that she has PPO Select, which is the least expensive of the healthcare plans that the district offers. I have MCSIG PPO 25, which is the most expensive of the healthcare plans the district offers. It's my 19th year. I'm all the way over on the pay scale. I make a little over 100K. My monthly contribution to health insurance is $865. I had an injury this summer, and even though I pay $865 a month, I still have to pay $6,000 for my shoulder. That $865 a month that I pay means that my take-home pay on 100K is just over $5,000 a month. And in March 2023 and August 2025, I had no-fault evictions from my housing. The first one got turned into an Airbnb. The second one, the guy's daughter needed to live in the house. But in both of these moves that I experienced, with 100K income, with no kids, no car payment, no debt, no student loans, nothing, but just my MPUSD salary, my one-bedroom apartment cost was going up 20% each move, plus the cost of moving and the hassle of moving and all of that. But I find it very concerning as a community member that a teacher amongst the highest of the paid teachers with the best of the healthcare has a very, very hard time making ends meet. I ended up putting I ended up putting all my belongings in storage because I was unable to get an apartment. I was unhoused for a period of time, and now I'm in an apartment which is the actual cheapest and smallest thing I could find. It's a studio on Del Monte, and I make 100K in your district without any other financial disasters in my personal life, but like all these people are having a very, very hard time making ends meet. And the reason more than half of the teachers are on PPO Select, which is the plan my colleague mentioned a moment ago, that's the cheapest plan, is we're trying to pay rent, we're trying to pay our student loans, we're trying to meet our car payment, and people don't have enough money for basics like housing, and in this case, healthcare. So that's why we're here today, to plead with you to help us have an adequate plan.
Hey, my name is Jason Amati. I work at Marina High. Thank you for taking the time to listen to all of us. I am on the employee plus one. Who's over there? Making all the noise. And that costs me at the PPO Select around $900, a little more than $900 per month. $900 per month if he never gets sick, if he never goes to the doctor, if nothing ever happens. And kids cost a lot more money than that too. I mean, that's already $900 per month. But you know, on top of it, we get 10 days, basically sick days per year. Last year I took 14, and almost all of them were because of my child. And when we look at the contributions of the family plan across all of our districts in the county, we can see the clear difference of Monterey County. And we all know that when teachers stay in our district, we have better outcomes for our students, better outcomes for our communities. It is clear. But the lack of contributions to our family plans causes a decision, a hard decision for our educators. Do I stay in this district in which I live, in which I work, in which I put my kids into school? Or do I look at one of these other districts that might have higher compensation, better insurance family plans, more contributions to the family plan because of all the reality of the so many expenses, me paying for going over my sick days because of all the ear infections and all the viruses that these kids pick up in the petri dishes that they go to school in. And all of this, it becomes a lot, and we love our schools, and we love our districts, and we love our communities, but it becomes that hard choice. And if we want districts where our teachers stay, where our teachers raise families, where our teachers put rates, I think we really need to consider and look at what kind of contributions we're putting into our insurance plans and how we're supporting teachers with families in staying within our districts. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Lotzenheiser. I teach 4-5 combo this year at La Mesa, and I'll be reading on behalf of an MBTA member from Seaside High, Kay Lee. So good evening, board members. I would like to first say how much I love my job as an educator and the impact we make as a positive light in the lives of our students. I have been in education for almost 15 years, and I would not change a thing about my career choice. I would like to ask how many of you are parents in the room? How many of you are grandparents? I am a single woman who cannot afford to know the joy of being a parent. I will never know what it's like to hold a baby in my arms, to watch them start kindergarten, graduate high school or college. I cannot afford to raise a child. I cannot afford a family. I have to live paycheck to paycheck. I have student loans that cannot be forgiven like others because I teach the most valuable yet undermined subject of physical education, and because of that, my student loans do not fall under most of the criteria for forgiveness. I cannot pick up a second or third job because I am either overqualified or cannot work the shift hours as I have tried before. I used to coach for 12 years, 8 at my site. Because of my passion for athletics and not the stipend, although that helped, however, that was taken away from me. I shudder to think of what life will look like for me when it's time to retire, if I get to retire, and all of the added health care costs. I currently have an autoimmune disease and have to take injections every other week. I was also diagnosed with a disease recently that causes me to be prone to stroke. As a physical education teacher, I value my health. However, financially, I can hardly afford my bills, loans, because the financial instability I'm currently in. I ask the board to remember my name and comments when you make your decisions that impact my life and the lives of those who do have the joy of having families. Kay Lee, phys ed teacher, department chair, Seaside High School.
My heart goes out to all these people with their health insurance, especially our first speaker, because I too had colon cancer. So, sorry, I thought I had this together. My name's Celine Ogden, and it's my honor to say this is my 27th year teaching. 21 of those years have been here at MPUSD. When I started teaching at MPUSD, my health insurance was affordable. I paid $140 a month for my husband and I, with a $3,500 copay, or out of pocket. As I said, I'm a cancer survivor. When I was 23, I was diagnosed with cancer. Luckily, I was able to have surgery, and I have been cancer-free. For the past 28 years, I have had care to ensure that I'm still cancer-free. Thanks. However, in 2023, my doctor ordered an outpatient procedure. McSig told me to go through Transcarent because they will arrange the best care for my surgery. Transcarent will cover costs such as transportation, housing, and food for me and my husband, who would take me to the surgery if the surgery was out of town. But do you know not all surgeries are covered by Transcarent? My surgery was not. I have the PPO Select plan because that's the plan that I can barely afford for myself and my husband. I therefore could not go down the road to CHOMP, my local hospital, to have my procedure done by my local doctor, who has been my doctor for 21 years. Since my surgery was not covered by Transcarent, costs such as transportation, housing, and food were not covered. My husband had to take 3 days off from work. Instead of taking 0 days off of work for me and have my procedure at CHOMP in the summer, I had to go to Stanford and take a total of 6 days off from work for my surgery. This is 6 days that MPUSD students did not have a highly qualified teacher. 6 days MPUSD students missed out on rigorous standard-based learning, and 6 days the district had to pay for a sub. It blows my mind that as I've progressed with my career, that health insurance has become unaffordable. It seems so backwards to me. I cannot even explain how stressful and scary and upsetting this is to my family. When people hear about the state of our health insurance, they usually say, hey, but you're a teacher. You should have good insurance. This happens over and over. Most people still think teaching is a job that will pay for good quality of life with good health benefits. This promise, which was a main incentive to pursue this career for myself and many others, has become a false promise. I stand here today to plead with you to please take actions to make our health care affordable. Thank you.
Just one more check if anyone else in the room would like to give a public comment. I'll then go out to Zoom to see if we have anybody. You can guys raise your hand on the raise hand feature under the More button and see if there's any public comment on Zoom. It's 2 pages, so bear with me. You guys have a lot of support today. Okay, so I don't see any public comment on Zoom, so I'll go ahead and close public comment. We will adjourn a closed session, and what time will we be back tonight?
We're scheduled to come back at 6:30, but given that we're going in at 6, it may be a little bit later.
Okay. Thank you all.